Ryan Gresham takes over this gun talk hunt to talk with John of Remington about a mule deer hunt, Remington Core-Lokt, and what's new at SHOT Show. This gun talk hunt is brought to you by Savage Arms, Brownells, serious about firearms since 1939, Silencer Central, Silence Delivered, and Hodgdon Powders, the gunpowder people.
All right, welcome into Gun Talk Hunt on location. And no, I am not Kevin Jarnigan. Ryan Gresham filling in this week because I'm out in West Texas, like way, way west. John?
10 miles from the border.
10 miles from the Mexican border. I'm here with John Langenfeld from Remington Ammunition, and we're here on a hunt because obviously Remington Ammo is growing, is back better than ever. I mean, not that you were ever necessarily gone, but you guys have really cranked up, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So, but the new thing we're trying out this week is the Core-Lokt Tipped.
Yep.
So we've talked about this a little bit with our audience, but if people aren't familiar, they've been in a hole, I mean, tell them about it.
Well, most people are familiar with regular Core-Lokt Remington ammunition. It's got a long history and performance is known and relied upon. And so with longer range shooting becoming more and more popular, we've decided to come out with Core-Lokt Tipped. And it's just that. It's a tipped version of the Core-Lokt product that gives the shooters a higher ballistic coefficient, and you get similar, performance on game. So that way you, I just lost all that. Anyways, Core-Lokt performance.
Wait, I got to say, so if you're listening to this, you're hearing some jingling, and you're like, what is that? That's Gilbert. That's our tracking dog. And if you're watching this, you really, like, Gilbert just walked off with a shed. So this is, we're at a hunting camp. He's the camp dog.
Yep. Yep.
That's awesome. But I mean, so Core-Lokt is, God, Core-Lokt has killed probably millions of deer.
Yep, absolutely.
And other game animals. But the tipped version you guys brought out this year, why?
It's a higher ballistic coefficient of Core-Lokt.
Okay.
Longer range shooting, flatter trajectory, but similar terminal performance.
Yeah. And we saw some of that this week. You can do all the lab and R&D and all that stuff, but you see different things when you actually see it in the field, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Field testing is where the metal hits the road, and you really got to take it out, shoot animals with it, different cartridges, different bullet weights, different scenarios, distances, and that's where you're going to figure out what your true performance is.
Yeah. Well, people like to argue on the internet, John.
Oh, yeah.
But when people want to argue about, especially ballistic stuff, I always kind of go, have you tested it? Because don't repeat stuff that you read,
right,
unless you actually have seen it in person. Goes for self-defense stuff, goes for hunting stuff. So we have you talked about different bullets and cartridges and calibers. We have a variety here this week.
We do, yep. Everybody's hunting with a different cartridge.
So what have you got?
So I used a 270 Winchester with a 130 grain bullet. And of course you were using the 6.5 Creedmoor with a 129.
129, yeah.
And I guess so Mark and John are hunting with both 308s, but Mark's shooting a handgun, bolt action handgun, 165. And then John is shooting a rifle.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a good variety. And you guys are loading it for the 280 Remington.
Yep.
And what else?
300 Win Mag, 300 Short Mag, 243. Let's see what else. Of course, 270 Winchester, 7 Rim Mag. All of your most popular hunting cartridges you're going to find Core-Lokt Tipped.
Yeah. So walk us through the hunt, because you got a deer this morning. We've been doing this for a couple days. Walk us through your hunt and how did it go down and what happened.
So as we were driving along through one of the ranch roads, we spotted the deer that I ended up shooting probably at 60, 70 yards roughly. The guide and I put the binoculars on him, was able to, judge him, make sure he was a deer that we wanted to take. I ended up taking a shot at about 85 yards. He was slightly quartering away from me. The bullet impacted on the point of the shoulder, and it ended up lodging on the other side just under the hide. So it went through a lot of a heavy bone, through the spine. It was probably one of the toughest conditions that you can ask, of a bullet to go through. We recovered the bullet. I haven't weighed it yet, but I would say, just based on looking at it, it's probably around 60% weight retention.
Yeah.
It's a good mush, and the deer just dropped on impact.
Yeah, he dropped right away. The bullet looks like a mushroom. But you're right. It traveled a good distance and through a bunch of stuff, bone and all that. So it was a kind of a tough test, and also shooting it from that close.
Yeah, absolutely. The closer they are, at the higher velocity, that's whenever you're going to test a bullet out and figure out if it's going to hold together.
Mm-hmm. All right. So right after this, I'm going to tell you about my hunt.
The new 1-6 by 24 MPO from Brownells has a donut. Yes, you're right. That is what I said. I said it has a donut reticle. Well, maybe I didn't mention reticle, but it definitely has a donut in it. But it's the Match Precision Optic with illuminated donut reticle, which provides an uncluttered reticle. So, we've grown to know like the clutter of a optic. Like, we're just accepting it. And Brownells said, you know what, let's rethink this. Let's create a donut. I had a chance to shoot this at SHOT Show and absolutely loved it. We were hitting steel out to 150 yards with the donut reticle. Absolutely love this reticle. It's assembled for Brownells in Japan with multi-coated lenses and glass etched reticle. You can find out more at brownells.com. And Smith & Wesson, the new CSX is a brand new platform for Smith & Wesson. It's hammer-fired micro 9mm. It's got aluminum alloy frame, ambidextrous safety, interchangeable back straps, a changeable mag release button. So for you left-handed shooters, you got your options open, which is awesome. And it's also got an ambidextrous slide stop, 10-round magazine, and an extended 12-round magazine. You can learn more at smith-wesson.com.
Okay, so my hunt was kind of funny because I came out here going, okay, I'm going to take the 6.5 Creedmoor. Love that cartridge, and it's a rifle I shoot well in the Ruger American. But I put on a new Bushnell scope, and the one they sent me was a 6 power to 18 power, which honestly, I was like, man, I'd kind of like to have a little bit lower end, but we're out here in West Texas.
It's open country.
It is wide open country. They've got like 1 million acres here. And I should say, we're hunting with High West Outfitters. These guys are great, and they got a lot of deer. But I sighted it in. Okay, I'm on at 100, and it has this DOA reticle, so I plug it into the app, and it has the ballistic dots going down, and it kind of just worked out this way that the first dot down from the crosshairs was about 200. It was like 206. Next dot down was 300. It was like 313, 311, something like that. The next one was 400. So it's not always that way. With this, you have to plug it in the app, and it may be 435 yards, but it just kind of worked out. So I'm like, okay, I got this on my head. So we spot this deer, and he's like, man, it's a nice deer. I don't know. It's the first morning. We're probably going to pass him up. Let's work our way around this little mountain, and we'll see if we catch him on the other side, get a better look at him. So we work our way around, and there he is. And as we get a better look, and we're looking at him from the front now, because before he was walking away from us, our guide, Steven, goes, you need to shoot that deer.
Yep.
So my policy generally with these things is when the guide says the words, you better shoot that deer, I'm not arguing with him. All right.
Yep.
This is only the second mule deer I've ever shot. So I'm like, all right, let's shoot the deer. So I get out, I get set up, and I'm standing on the ground, and I go, well, I'll wait for him to stand up. And Steven goes, he is standing up. Went, well, all I could see was about half of his head up. I could just see his horns. I couldn't see his neck, his body, anything. I went, okay. So I climbed into a higher spot, higher shooting position, and then I could see him, but he's about 100 yards away, and he starts walking kind of past us a little bit, but towards us.
Yep.
He gets, guys, I'm going wide open country, 6.5 Creedmoor. I got the Core-Lokt tipped. I'm ready out to, I feel comfortable out to 450 maybe. 40 yards. 40 yards he walks.
Broadside.
All right, that's what he's going to give me. And I mean, what was funny is as he walked, this is early in the morning, sun's low in the sky, he basically walked right to where the sun was just peering right through my scope. So for a good 3, 4, 5 seconds, I could not really see him. I'm trying to like squint my eyes and look through the scope. And, but eventually he got broadside and away from the sun, and I made the shot. He ran, I don't know, 30 yards and piled up, and it was great. It went through one shoulder, out the other side.
Yep. Clean exit hole. Didn't recover that one.
Didn't recover the bullet.
Shot the heart right in half.
I did. I took the top of the heart off, which, that means he's not going far.
Nope.
But it worked great. Now, Mark with us, like you said, he's shooting a 308 handgun.
Yep.
And people go, well, wait, what? It's an HS Precision.
It is.
So it's a bolt gun, but it's a handgun, and so it's shorty. He shot his. Now, 2 guys with rifles here.
Under 100 yards.
You're 80 yards about. I was about 40. He shot his at 250 yards with a 308 handgun. And, I think the deer went down. I think he put a second one in just an insurance shot. But wow.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
250 yards with a handgun. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he knows how to use them too.
Yeah. He is very comfortable with it. So it's been interesting. I mean, and you've been some other hunts this year. Have you used Core-Lokt Tipped on other ones? Or were you using other stuff?
This is the first time that I've used
Really?
Core-Lokt Tipped. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we've shot a lot of gel blocks and tested accuracy at the range and stuff like that. But this is the first animal that I've harvested with the product.
Yeah, and these are mule deer, so I mean we're talking they're big body out here too.
Absolutely.
Bigger than whitetail for sure. And it did the job.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't ask for more. Like I said, with various cartridges, distances, bullet weights, you can really tell that what scenarios you can get into that this product is going to hold its weight and give you performance like you expect Core-Lokt product would.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to switch gears. Right after this, we'll talk about some waterfowl and wing shooting and that kind of thing.
Timney Triggers, the new alpha competition trigger, is now launched for the Smith & Wesson M&P triggers. It is compatible with M&P Gen 1s and the M2.0 models. So your subcompacts, your compacts, your performance centers, all those fit. And it's got a 3-pound pull weight, which is nice and crisp, a straight aluminum trigger shoe, NP3 coated sear and safety plunger. And as always, it's so easy to install. You do not have to be a gunsmith to do this, because I have actually done this. So if I can do it, so can you. Visit timneytriggers.com to learn more. And Silencer Central. All right, the new E-forms, everybody's talking about it. Everybody knows how easy it is with Silencer Central. They send all your gear to you. They send your fingerprinting. They do that. You can do that at your house, which I have been walking through this process. Super easy. But you know what? I wish I would have done the E-forms. I wish I would have had it a year ago, because I would have already had my suppressor and I'd be shooting it right now. But I'm not. I'm waiting it because I'm on the old system. So if you're looking to get into a suppressor, I highly recommend you look at Silencer Central, because they do it all for you. So they are going to do your fingerprints. They're going to send you the fingerprints. They're going to upload a photo to them. And then guess what? Send it all back to them. They do your trust for you. They're going to manage that trust for the life of the trust. So as long as you have it and as long as the trust is good, they're going to manage it for you, and I love that about it. But their new E-forms is taking up to about 90 days or so to get your suppressor. So if you want to learn more, go to silencercentral.com.
All right, so you just went on a duck hunt as well.
I did.
Obviously, Remington is one of the big ammo companies. You guys are now sister companies with Federal, and Vista bought you guys. But I mean, rimfire, shot shell, centerfire, everything included. What are some of the updates with shot shell on that side of things?
Well, I mean, we're coming out with a little bit of everything. We've got plans for all the new products, or categories of products: turkey loads, waterfowl loads, target loads. as far as some new stuff, we worked hand in hand with Federal on a new product called the High Overall. And so that's a kind of a joint effort between Federal and Remington to come out with what they feel like is the best target load that there is.
Cool.
If you're familiar with the unibody hull that Remington uses in their STS and Nitro line, the Federal guys wanted to use that in the product, but have some added features that are, specific to Federal, the way that they load it, the wads that they use and whatnot. So HOA is new. It's got the maroon color. So it's, that hit the streets last fall. Really, there was some of it advertised, like the Grand American, National Sporting Clay, stuff like that. That's where they debuted it. So you'll really see a bulk of it start to hit the market next year.
And that's a Remington or a Federal?
That's Federal's.
Okay.
Yeah, Federal High Overall.
Okay, very cool.
So for waterfowl loads, heavy shot is also part of Vista.
That's new now.
Yep.
And how is that affecting or changing or maybe adding to what you guys can do?
Well, it as one time everybody was a competitor, now we're all under one roof. And so it's very interesting to collaborate with other engineering groups at these facilities, see what they're doing. They can, we travel and go to everybody else's facility and see how they manufacture and, what concepts they're working on. So we can definitely use the technology and the knowledge base of all these companies to make Vista ammunition, very strong and very competitive.
Yeah. What I got to ask, so you guys, you've been with Remington a decade, and you've got all this engineering and manufacturing capabilities and experience, but then you go talk to who had been your competitor for 10 years or well, more than that, and go, well, how are you guys doing it? What was something that surprised you in the way they did it, or something you went, well, damn, that's a smart idea?
Yeah, well, some of the manufacturing operations, you can batch things up from process to process, or you can manufacture in line where you feed in a raw material and then on the backside comes out a packed product.
Oh,
so,
sure. Okay.
We both do a little bit of that, but we've been able to go into each other's facilities and, look around and see what they may do better, or maybe we got some things that we think we do better. And, you can compare notes and overall, collaborate and try to grow better regardless, whoever which facility it is. But it's been eye-opening to see the different equipment, the brands of the equipment, and just the overall manufacturing process, whether it's shell making or making rimfire, how it's loaded, things like that. So there's definitely a very broad knowledge base now within Vista.
Yeah, for sure. And you're a hunter.
Yep.
I mean, we were talking about all these different hunts you've done. Going to Africa, going out west. I mean, what are some of the lessons you've learned over the years as far as when it comes to, you go out to Africa, for instance, and you do a safari, and one of the neat things we're talking about with a safari is you typically get to shoot several animals in a week or 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever it is. What are some takeaways that when you bring it back to like ideas that are formulated for a new product?
Well, one, you got to, selecting the correct bullets for what you're going to go after. There's really, in my opinion, there's an optimum choice for, whether you're going to be hunting whitetails or elk, or moose, dangerous game.
It's not all the same bullet.
Oh, no.
Not all the same
you
load.
can shoot, about anything with, really tough controlled expansion bullets, but it may not be the best choice for that. It may not be the quickest, efficient kill and transfer energy as quickly and drop the animal on the spot. But, and also too, vice versa, you shoot a bullet like that into a real thick, heavy boned animal, and you may not get the penetration that you need. And so knowing what you're going after, as far as your species that you're going to hunt and the distances that you could potentially be shooting them at, and then picking the correct bullet for that animal.
All right, then we're going to put you on the hot seat. Let's go through some different hunts, some different animals, and have you pick your favorite cartridge caliber. And because I always use those interchangeably, I know they're different, but and then your favorite bullet or load for that. So white-tailed deer.
So white-tailed deer, 270 Winchester. Core-Lokt Tipped.
Yeah.
You've got good terminal performance. Your bullet's going to open pretty quick. it's a standard cup and core bullet, but you've got the Core-Lokt mechanical lock in there to keep your jacket and your core together. So if you go through the shoulders, heavy bone, like we did today with the 270, your bullet's not going to have cup and core separation and lose a bunch of weight. You're still going to get the penetration that you need to kill the animal quickly, efficiently. It's a classic cartridge. There's not too much recoil. It's flat shooting, and so that would be my choice for the perfect deer, antelope, medium-sized game cartridge.
What about little guys? What about coyotes?
For coyotes, personally, I've got a 22-250.
Yeah.
And so we make the AccuTip product for Remington. It's been around a while. It's a tipped bullet. Again, thin jackets, rapid expansion, and that's what you need. You don't want to just punch a hole through something and have them run off.
That wouldn't be appropriate for whitetail or muleys or something.
Exactly. So you're shooting a bullet selected for the the animals that you're going to hunt. Thinner skin, smaller bodies. So you don't want 24 inches of penetration in your varmint bullet.
Yeah. What about something bigger? We talk about maybe elk, moose, something like that.
So I think with elk and moose, depending on your distances, again, Core-Lokt tipped in the heavier stuff is definitely appropriate broadside shots. Remington historically has loaded a lot of Swift product in their A-frame and the Sirocco line, the Safari line as well. So you start to get into thicker jackets. You're controlling that expansion, so it's expanding slower.
I was going to say,
deeper
explain the
penetration.
Controlled expansion.
Yeah. So
people listening may not think about that.
So if you look at like a Swift A-frame bullet, you've got a lead nose. There's a partition wall going through the center of it. You've got a lead core in the rear. It's also bonded, and so that bullet can only expand to a certain point, and then it stops.
Yeah.
The nose is gonna mush back until it hits that copper wall, and then from there's no more expansion.
It can't.
It's penetration.
Go past that wall.
No, that's it. So you stop you stop the expansion, which maintains your surface area. It doesn't keep getting larger, and so therefore now it's only penetration. A standard cup and core bullet that continues to expand, you keep getting more surface area, more resistance, bullet slows down quicker. You're transferring energy, but you're not going to get as much penetration.
And yeah, in an example, I think of it like you have that shank in the back that's like a freight train keeps pushing that mushroom through.
Absolutely.
Okay, what about bigger? We're talking about brown bear or going to Africa, Cape Buffalo.
Swift A-frames have got a reputation, long history with tough, thick-skinned game. Buffalo, brown bears, you really can't beat that cartridge. Swift A-frames loaded in any of the big cartridges, your 375s, 416s, you're going to get the penetration you need and good expansion. But mainly, like I said, the penetration. Those are big body, big thick bones. So you're hitting them in the shoulders, things like that. Your bullet needs to get to the vitals.
What cartridge is going to be your personal pick?
So for brown bear, 416 Remington Magnum.
Okay.
For Cape Buffalo, I think that's also a great cartridge. I personally have a 450
with the right bullets.
Yep, with the right bullets. I've got a 450 Dakota that I've actually taken buffalo with. But I think that the 416 Remington Magnum is one that, it's not too much recoil above a 375. A lot of countries, 375 is the minimum that you can use in a dangerous game. So with the 416, similar trajectory. You're shooting 400 grain bullets compared to a 300 grain bullet, so it hits a little harder than a 375. But the gun's not so big and bulky. You can still carry it. You can build that on a standard size action, 9.5 pound gun. It's not going to kick you out from under your hat, but still it's going to hit with authority. Yeah.
And we're talking about brown bear or Cape Buffalo. These are dangerous game that, they're dangerous. So let's do something big at them.
Yep. Something gives you confidence.
Yeah. Man. Very cool. You guys are doing good things. New stuff on the way, I imagine, right?
Yeah,
more new stuff.
We're always looking in all the areas of new products. You'll see some new stuff coming out at SHOT Show this year.
Okay.
Not gonna, give the goods away just yet.
Yeah.
But stay tuned for that. You'll see some new stuff, and with Vista's very heavily oriented with innovation. New products, and so you'll definitely be seeing a lot of new stuff coming from Remington.
Very cool, John. Thanks a lot. That's it for us on Gun Talk Hunt.